Hello everybody, and welcome to a different type of video today, as I'm joined by a very iconic face of the Jon Pertwee years of Doctor Who, and I'm also joined with Ben as well. What's it like today, in Unit Day, being with some of the stars you worked alongside with, and different stars from different eras of Unit?
Well, it was just an incredible adventure, because first of all, when you're a young actor like I was in those days, I started off as a walk-on, £10 a day. And then suddenly, when I found myself acting opposite people like Pat Tran and Jon Pertwee and all the other people, and the guest stars, you suddenly realise what a powerful, I'm glad I brought that up. You realise what a powerful influence Doctor Who is, and it's so deep in our culture now that there's no way out of it, and it will be with us now for the next 1,000 years. And I can tell you right now, I am thrilled that I'm one of the people that was in it.
Excellent, excellent. So before you took on the role of Sergeant Benton, you played a Cyberman in the Pat Tran story, The Movie.
Yes.
And a Yeti in The Web of Fear.
Yes.
So what was that like?
Well, I mean, it was hard. I mean, a Yeti costume was so hot. The Yeti was the worst one. It was so heavy and whatever. And the Cyberman was a lot easier because it was a lighter uniform. But you don't know at the time that you're becoming an iconic actor. I mean, I didn't know that. I just got up in the morning, got the bus down to Putney, got into the studios, put the costume on, and then did it. But now I realise just how much we did. But it was just fun playing a Yeti.
Right, so how did it come about from playing those roles to then playing Sergeant Benton?
Well, it was a bit nervy for me. In fact, if you check any of my old interviews, you'll see that I'm honest enough to say that I had no drama training, no theatre, no voice coach, or anything. I was a menswear salesman in Regent Street in London, and a very famous movie star, Telly Savalas, who played Kojak on television for years and years, came in, said, "You've got a great face." I was quite well built in those days. He said, "You should come and be a movie actor," and so I did. I only made about 5 movies, but I certainly enjoyed the process of going from a walk-on to acting. It's a tough road to hoe, but I think I did a pretty good job.
Right, cool. Ben?
Who would you say was like your most sort of mentor and give you like the most guidance throughout the sort of film? Was it like Roger, Nick, or...?
I can tell you exactly. Well, first of all, Douglas Camfield is the man that gave me my heart. Jon Pertwee gave me my soul. Roger Delgado gave me my conscience. And Barry Letts gave me my life. Those 5 men, those 4 men conspired behind my back to give me Sergeant Jon Benton. And to this day, I cry over the loss of Douglas Camfield. I love the man. Barry Letts was one of the nicest Christians I've ever met in my life. And Jon Pertwee, of course, was my closest and best friend, and indeed I was his closest and best friend, which was very flattering for a young man like me from a medieval village called Salisbury. Going to London and having someone like Jon Pertwee adore you was absolutely wonderful. So all I can say, it was spectacular.
Awesome. So what was your favourite story to work on out of the whole?
Had to be the Daemons, for no other reason than I had quite a lot to do. I was in plain clothes for a change, which made me feel quite nice. And I thought I was very good in that show. Good because everything else in that show was good along with it. I just rode the goodness of it. Great, powerful show. Still voted, I believe, the best Doctor Who in the history. It's just absolutely, and the fact that I'm the 1/5 of that show. God in heaven, can you imagine how I feel? Can you imagine how you feel when you're the bloke that's in it? Next question.
Alright. There's been references in other Doctor Who media, such as books and spin-offs and other serials, really, about what actually happened to Sergeant Benton. I mean, in the 5th Doctor story, Mordred Undead, it was said that he became a used car salesman. In some of the books, it said they got married and had grandchildren and children.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And in the Sarah Jane Adventures, the spin-off, it said that Sergeant Benton was on a secret mission in Malaysia. So.
Well, that's what I'd like. I want to be a secret mission. I don't want to bloody be drinking a coffee in Starbucks in the middle of bloody Reading. I mean, God, I was selling cars. I hated that. Yeah. When somebody said you've got to be a car salesman, I thought of all the work I put into this show, and they've made me a bloody car salesman. I was so pissed off. But you know, it's the writer's way. But no, I obviously, I mean, everybody, so many people want us back, Richard or I. Yeah. Just one story. We did just one story. But I'd be a brigadier by now and retired, albeit. But yeah, that's every single day in Doctor Who was spectacular, especially with Jon Pertwee.
Awesome.
He was my hero.
So, Ben?
You've recently gone into sort of the music industry. How did that sort of come about? Really?
I'd always wanted to sing. Haven't we all? Haven't we all seen a certain singer and thought, wouldn't it be lovely? Well, I've got a voice coach. Her name is Natasha Denton. She used to run 4 choirs, very clever lady, and she plays saxophone. And one of the first songs I wanted to learn was Buddy Holly's True Love Ways. You're too young to remember, but it was one of the biggest hits for hundreds of years. It's basically just you know why, just you and I. and in the middle of it there's a saxophone instrumental. And my teacher, when we were singing it, and we were singing in a church, this gorgeous church, and she said, "Would you like me to play the sax?" And I said, you don't play. And she got the saxophone out and played it, and it sounded better than the bloody record. Because I said to her, hang on, I bet I'll switch the record off, and it was her playing. So the next week I went out and bought a saxophone. £1,500, gold-plated Yamaha tenor sax. And believe it or not, I learned to play it in a day. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mean I can just play it. I can only do one song at the moment. But what a job. Don't laugh. And I did insure my singing voice, please don't laugh. I insured my singing voice for £50,000 and had a bloody good time on the Okay, any more questions?
Now, Jon Pertwee is my favourite Doctor.
Ah.
The 70s is my favourite
Ah.
Doctor completely.
Ah.
I was just wondering if you got a lovely story of John, like your fondest memory of
Oh,
John.
how long you got?
Oh, go on.
Oh, John. Well, let me tell you something when I felt so wonderful. See, I was with John all day, most weekends, because he was opening supermarkets and that, and he chose me to drive him. And I couldn't believe it. My mum and dad, who were Jon Pertwee fans, he came over to my home one day, and my dad almost fell off his bloody chair. Jon Pertwee, standing there like he wasn't. One day we were doing a huge show in a marquee. It was in the location of the Daemons, the old one. Had a huge tent. And John has always loved my sense of humour. I have a natural sense of humour, whereas John had to act a sense of humour. Some comedians are natural, like Mickey Flanagan, who I must say I thoroughly enjoy. And I do love Jimmy Carr because he's ruthless. Yeah. In fact, he created the shortest joke the other day. Dwarf shortage. Isn't that clever? Dwarf shortage. Anyway, so yes, and John was, as I said, I adored John. I mean, the fact that we were what I call two straight men, my affection for him was enormous, but only because he gave me everything my father did. My father hated me. And if you watch the Claws of Axos documentary, you'll see that my mother even admitted that my dad hated me. So I had a brutal childhood. In fact, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I sometimes cry at the thought of what I had to go through just to live. But that's all very serious. Anyway, I was with John one day, and these children loved him. And I loved him too, and I couldn't wait to see him every day. And there was this little girl, and she kept shouting. She was in the audience, and I have one joke. Now and again, I know over 2,000 jokes over my lifetime. And now and again, you can wait a month or a year for that one perfect opportunity to crack that odd joke. And John couldn't get this young girl, about 11 years old, to shut up, and he was getting a bit angry because, you can get worn down by an audience. Anyway, I waited and waited until I got the right time, and I knew John would love it. And just as the little girl went quiet, I said, "Can I ask you, my lovely, what's your name?" You can ask John, Mr. Pertwee, a question. I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Mary." And I said, "Can I ask how old you are?" She said, "I'm 11. I said, "Do you want to be 12? And John found that so funny that he couldn't speak for about half an hour. So Jon Pertwee, as I said, was my mentor, my God, and ultimately, I suppose, my best friend. And of course, I was with him 10 days before he died. I got on the plane back to Hollywood. And I'd been there 5 days, and the phone rang, and somebody said, "John's dead." I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't get to his funeral because I had no money. I didn't have any money in Hollywood at all. And I tell people I did, but I didn't. And but that was it. And I miss him to this day. And I'm, like I said, I just miss him.
Absolute legend.
Well, he is a legend, and the fact that I was a bit of a legend along with him, I'm absolutely overwhelmed that it was me. I still am. I still can't get over it. All the movies I made, all the movies I did. Little me from Salisbury, Wiltshire. Okay, how much? Is that much more?
Yeah, there's a few more questions.
Oh, okay. I'm so hungry.
Do you still keep up with the show?
No, I don't. I won't tell you why. Well, actually, I will. I'm writing a screenplay and I don't get time to watch.
Oh, right.
I love Peter Capaldi, though. I absolutely adore his, because he's very Jon Pertwee. He's getting more like John every bleeding day, which is quite a compliment.
Yeah. And there's one last question. Will you ever consider reprising the role of Sergeant Bent in like Big Finish audios?
Oh, I've done one Big Finish audio, and I've now ironed out the little problem I had, and now I believe they're going to do some more with me, hopefully with Katie and Richard. I like Big Finish, especially Nick Briggs and Jason Hay Ellery. Hay Ellery. Lovely, Nick Briggs, because I've known him for 50 years. But yes, I really would like to do some more in the future. I thoroughly enjoyed the one I did.
It's like alongside like Tim Trelaw, because he's like stepping in for Jon Pertwee in the recent audience.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
So if they ask me, I will certainly do that.
Excellent. So, John Levene, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Listen, everybody, for what it's worth, always tell the truth. If you have a girlfriend, don't betray her, because if you do, it'll come back and bite you. And don't fucking lie to people. Don't fucking lie. Just go through your life telling the truth, and it's a lot easier. And just remember, you can basically do anything you want. You just have to have the guts to try. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. It's the best piece of advice I can give you. On behalf of everyone else in Doctor Who, this is John Levene signing off. Sergeant Benton wishing you all the very best, and may your own particular God go with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's been an honour.